Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be my showcase on Jacob Fatu, Samoan Werewolf. So he looks pretty cool. It looks like he had some issues with some archery at camp, and didn't go so well. Yeah, anyway, that was my poor attempt at humor. I do not have the moment leveled. I don't want to level the moment because, people won't have the moment necessarily. It would add a little bit in the green gem stew damage, right? 50%. That's about and then the regular gems. So he would get like 50% on blues, 100% on the other, on green. So it would definitely add for sure. But not really necessary, and a lot of you won't have him. So he's a modern era focused technician. So same as Ilya. He's got the zombie link. Any color moves start with MP reduced by 2, and then Year of the Zombie starting MP by 5. Stock Samoan Werewolf gear. He's a coach. He's very similar to Bliss, but generates 2 instead of 3, so worse than Bliss, but better than Penta. All right, so I got a bunch of move sets for you guys, a lot of different ways to run him. We're going to start off with a move damage set, double down, 4 MP, 1 mil damage, increase all your move damage by 75%, then deal 750k, increase your green MP by 5. Then we got the 6 feet under, 4 MP, deal 139k damage, choose a 4x1 area to swap into greens, right? And then actually I have the wrong move in here, I think. No, this is the one I want, the Doom Salt, yeah. 35 mil damage for each player turn that has passed, including your current turn. So we're going to run that. Strap is a 100% move damage with takedown 2s, not 3s. And we're going to go against Taker, someone with more health, since we're doing a move damage build, right? So this one might not look super impressive, right, necessarily. So we would have 1 green to start. This would give us 4. Oh, I didn't talk about the trainers because I'm lame. So we're going with, what's his butt here? For 100% more damage, Balor Showboat. 100% more red move damage, and then red moves start with 2 MP. That our turn gives us 3. We need Santa Hogan to give us 4. And then we have Gooker for 75%. And then if you have Rocky, Rocky would be better at 100%. Rocky 76 than Piper here at 75%. But we have a Super Santa who's doing 30% move damage. So I kind of did that to wash it out for those that don't have Super Santa. So yeah, that's your move damage. And you can see, before the metals were in, we were doing 3.8, 2.8, and 5 million. But now once we get metals in, we get in here, we're doing 7.4, 5.6, and 10 million, but then we're going to get a buff, right? So Taker has 85 million health. On top of that, we'd have 1 MP, so you have to hit this move twice before this is loaded. We get the buff on the second part. So we do like, it's like 15 millish on that. And then this does 18. This does have cascade risk, right? So not necessarily great for competitive modes, but it's not a huge cascade risk. And it did like 18 million. Then we hit this again. And it's fast, right? And he's all the way down from 85 to 18. And then if you hit the 6 feet on, or the Doom Salt here, it's going to do another 35 million, right? And then this is another 25 million. So with the cascade risk, you could obviously drain a crap ton of health. And that's with no plates. So it's actually quite effective. I could see this being potentially an interesting Titan build with his skill plate, right? I'll run that one more time just so you guys can see how fast it is. The thing about move damage, it does not interact with the board. And this could potentially be really interested in Titan because it's a combo move that's hitting twice for 1 action. Potential to keep growing this moveset. I don't know. The buff probably could be a little bit bigger, right? And then you don't even need to hit this move on a showboat here. And you could win. See, 25 mil, we'd win. But, so that's actually quite fast. Pretty much. I don't like the cascade risk in a lot of modes, though. And then he does have his skill plate, which is going to enhance this. And that's where maybe it could potentially be interesting in Titan, especially combined with the move per turns. I don't really know, though, to be honest, how well the move damage would, or how quickly it would scale up to be worth it. Probably, honestly, probably not enough. It's probably just wishful thinking on my part because move damage is fun. And it would be really cool to use in this really strong move damage person in Titan. Let's just do red. That will make this easier. Whenever you activate a red move, increase your red move damage by 100% for 2 total turns. So this is going to add a little bit every time we hit a red move. Which we just hit. All right. Now we're up to 20 million. It was like 18 before. So you're not gaining a lot. You're only gaining 100% off of your base move damage, right? So it's not huge, but we're up to 16 and 12 here. So it's getting better. And you can see at this point, I think we basically have him like what, close to 10 million lower than we did. And now we're all the way up to 36 here. So actually it's pretty solid, to be honest. Pretty solid, to be honest, because the buff scales with it. The plate itself doesn't scale multiplicative, but the buff does. So yeah, I mean the move damage goes up a lot. Anyway, next move set. This one we're not gonna super care about the plate because it's not really doing anything. But I will take it off anyway. Remove. And then we're going to switch over to a green move damage medal on takedown 2. And you don't need what's her butt Roxanne for this. You could run this with a red MP trainer. I just put Roxanne on for the feels because I felt like it. So we're going to bring in the Sinister Samoan drop. And we're going to move that Doom Salt here. So that finisher, we're not going to take advantage of half of it. It's a 10 MP finisher, 1.75 million, and make 28 multis into green. We're not taking advantage of that in this particular instance, though. The problem with this moveset is it doesn't recycle, right? So I don't particularly love it at all. You could keep the red move on to try and recycle it, I suppose, but then you're going to lose the 35 mil here, which you need. But red to start here would be fine. Then we got Bailey for 100% because we want more damage on this. Then we got Kofi for 75 green and Gooker. I'm using a little bit more trainers, rare trainers, since he is a S plus. But I'll use some non-rare trainer setups too. But again, this is the reason why I'm going against Taker. This move set I don't think translates to enough, personally. I'll let you guys decide. So we're getting 9 mil plus 35 brings it down to 44, which is spicy. But only 21 million on this, right? And it doesn't recycle. So I don't feel like that gets it done. We can put a Sheik plate on, and we'll gain a little bit. And let's see if we can zero him. But I don't like this move set this way. I think him move damage, the way to run him is definitely with the 2 reds if you're going to do that, with or without the plate. Toss the Sheik plate on. And for anyone who's going to say like triple green with the Sheik plate, it won't be nearly as good because you would lose the buff. So that's a no. You don't want, Sheik plate isn't going to do anything for triple green with move damage compared to the buff. The buff is significantly better. Sheik plate's just going to add 100% to the greens. I think it's 100, right? So there's a green, and we only went up to 25 million. So we still can't zero a taker, and it doesn't recycle. So to me, this is a no use moveset, but it's worth showing, I thought. So the next one is really funky, and I would only run this if you have trouble getting specific, maybe specific plates, or I don't know. But I thought it was worth showing. I'll run it without the plates, and then I'll put the plates on. But it's definitely weird, and it's not very good without the plates compared to the other move sets, right? But it did kind of interest me, so I try a bunch of different stuff when I do these before I make a preview, and some of them, sometimes I'm like, this is kind of interesting. People might want to see it. Because you can use some very low demand plates for this move set. And we're just going to mix it all up here. So we're using, I think you say that Pyrrhic tactics, call back to Zombie Gunther. 4 MP blue, deal 800k damage, make 42 random gems into trap gems. Broken by your opponent, deal 500k damage, and deal 250k bleed damage to your opponent for 3 turns. Broken by you, steal up to 350k health. Really, we're just using this to set the trap plate off is where we're going to use it. Otherwise, there's really no reason to do it. You would just use these 2 moves and like 2-click it, right? Werewolf's Howl, 5 MP, deal 500k damage and make the bottom 4 rows into multiply gems of strength 5, then deal 650k damage, increase your green MP by 4, right? So essentially think of this as the 2-click build, but the trap move is in there for the plate we're going to put on later. If that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense, right? But you'll probably get it when I show it. Yeah. So let's go right here. Previous. I've used all these. There's just a lot of different kind of funky combos you can do. So yeah, this time the traps aren't doing anything, right? So I'm not going to even click them. Chelsea, I know for a fact, there you are. I used you. So I'm not going to, oh, I didn't switch straps. That's kind of important. You do want a gem damage strap for a gem damage build, right? I'm big dumb. So kind of disregard the damage here because we're in takedown and it's still pretty good. 44 million, right? For a takedown. But let's throw the gem damage strap on, you big dumb. It'd probably be helpful, huh, guys? So I probably should talk about the trainers too, but you know, I'm kind of discombobulated today. A lot going on in my brain, so I'm actually just very distracted today. Very, very distracted. All right, so the 4 MP is easily loaded with Luger and Santa, right? That gives us 3, and our turn gives us 4. And then he loads the green. This green fills the finisher, right? Chelsea for the multiplies, Luger for the multiplies, right? All right, now we have a gem damage strap on. Let's try this again. And for 2-click for this, you would drop Santa with another zombie or Leo, and then put, what's her butt? Liv right here. And then you just 2-click it like this. And you'd hit even a little harder than this. And that's the way I would run the multiply, right? In general, would be this way with a Will of Jade, etc. But right now it does not really make a difference to put the traps out. So just show you, it hits for like 60 million. Okay, not that great, not that exciting, whatever. It is what it is, right? Leo obviously would make a bigger difference than Chelsea too. I know I'm talking a lot, but let's put the skill plates on, which is really the whole reason for this build. And I just wanted to show it without the skill plates. So the taker plate, right? You get 200%, so it's better than the whatchamacallit plate that the Will of Jade multi. No, not multi, trap. Right here. When you make 15 or more trap gems, increase your green gem damage by 200%. Then you just combo that with the fairly worthless green Barber's Blades. Not neither of these plates are very high demand, right? So if you have them, uh, potentially a pretty good spot for him. 75% more green gem damage. And that's where you'd run this. You'd run into some more issues though with like reversals, because now you're worried about trap as well. So this has trap, MP up, and multiply reversal. Not ideal. That's kind of a thing with a lot of the builds for him, is there's some reversal concerns for sure. You can see that hit for 90 million, which is okay. It's not bad. And then let's go ahead and put Leo on for Chelsea for those of you that have Leo. I mean, Technician has a couple of really strong characters, so and him being focused, I'll definitely compare him to Ilya at the end, right? For sure. Julius has some monster 2-click build potential, right? So cool animations. Very much Aussie vibes, right? 110 million. Solid. Solid effort. All right. Triple green. That's next up. And this is basically the same build set you'd run for 2-click. You just drop the 35 million move, right? Triple green's kind of interesting, though. We'll go double zombie, since a lot of people don't have Leo. Doesn't matter what order you hit these in. The plates we have on are doing nothing right now, so this would be without plates or without moment. Let's see how we feel about triple green. So you're going to hit for 35 million. Strong. And 60 million pins. That's about 95 million no plates. Pretty solid. We'll come back to that after we run this build set with plates on. So another variation of this, except this has MP up in it, which the other one did too, but this kind of allows you a little more trainer flexibility. I think that's probably where I see his strongest suit, honestly, for the most part, is in all the different trainer and combo flexibilities, to be honest. Where you don't really need, I have a loadout for this one. You don't really need a proper MP trainer, right? Necessarily. So we're just bringing the double down back in, which you guys are aware of. It also increases your move damage, so you're going to get a small boost there. But we're really only using it to fill our moves because it's 4 MP. So we can get loaded with Andre and Santa. So if you don't have Leo, this is very effective to get you very large multiply gems, all the way strength 11 with Chelsea, right? If you do have Leo, then you're up to 14 times. So yeah, this is pretty effective way to get some high multiplies without having someone like Leo. Of course, if you don't have Sherry, no big deal. You could drop Santa, run double zombie, and then just run with Hall of Fame JBL or any other red MP person, right? And drop Santa and run double zombie. So red fills the greens. Drop your multiplies. Actually, you'd have to be careful because you need at least one 5, 6. No, you'd be fine. Never mind. Ignore me. Yep. Everything I said was accurate, I think. Sometimes 85 million with no plates. right? So pretty decent, pretty decent. Let's throw plates on. I have one more build set for you guys. I'll run after this, which happens to be my favorite, but then we'll talk about, you know, how he is. So plate for this, obviously Will of Cargill. You could use the Ministry plate that adds 100%, but it's much higher demand, works on anyone. So you would definitely want to only use the Jade plate on this one. Let's just apply, because they both add 100%, so they do the exact same thing, but the Jade plate is less in demand. So use the Jade plate, right? In primary, nothing's really going to boost it. For this move set with the buff, you could run the Sheik plate and get a little bit on that. On the move damage, why not? You're going to hit 1 green, so there's no reason not to. Same setup as like Mercy. So he would share a strap with Mercy the Buzzard. Honestly, kind of how I see him actually is very similar to Mercy the Buzzard as far as his multiply set. The greens, all very similar to Mercy. Damage output actually is super similar too when you factor in all the moments that Mercy's got available to him and stuff. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's run this again and then we'll run the previous triple green. Just keep in mind while you're seeing all this damage, guys. I mean, Ilya goes for over 300 million, right? So, I mean, Jacob's fine. He's not bad by any stretch, but he's not Ilya. He's not Julius with 2 clicks, right? So there we get 107 mil, which is definitely respectable. Let's walk it back to triple green. Walk it back to triple green. So this obviously wouldn't be loaded. So you would hit this first, which would load this, and then you'd hit that. But for the purpose of this, the order doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? I hope everyone knows what I mean. But I don't know, guys. I'm just really distracted today, so stuff isn't flowing very well for me. So hopefully this translates into a decent showcase for you guys. All right. So that's the 35 mil hit. And this would essentially be what you would do 2-click with him, right? This would be the build you'd run, but you'd add Leo if you add Leo over Gunther. And you can see 75 million plus the 35, 110, basically the same as the other. And 75 million 2-click is pretty decent. And that's what I said, like I said, very similar to Mercy. The 2 and 3-click is basically super similar. Because Mercy's multiplies are basically 2 rows and they're twice as big. So the multiply build is basically identical to Mercy. That's how I see it. Yeah. So the move damage has its issues. Let's throw Leo on with this, and I'll just show you guys 2-click with Leo. Let's previous here. And then we'll move on to my favorite build set. Which this would be 2-click, MP up, multiplies, and it's basically, this is honestly pretty much carbon copy to Mercy at this point, except it's more rows of green at half strength. Double the rows, half the strength. And yeah, 90 million 2-click, right? So very similar to Mercy on the multiply set. All right. And lastly, if what I have for you guys, my favorite triple blue, it's got a ton of unblockable, right? Which is why I like it. It also does not have MP up, and it also has a reversal in it. So he's got 2 different reversals. Hopefully I read the one reversal. I feel like I didn't maybe do this very well. No, I guess I did. Yeah. This is the first reversal. He just got a lot of combo moves, a lot of stuff going on. Blah, blah, blah. So we've seen Spirit Tactics, we've seen Dead Drop Driver, 4 MP, 1 million damage, 200k bonus for every trap. Bloody Boot, 4 MP, 800k damage, 49 random into blue. It's also reversal, so if you get subbed, breaks the sub, increases the damage of all your gems by 150%. So yeah, don't sub him. Yeah, low charge, right? You don't necessarily need Lawler, but Lawler gives you the ability for a pretty cool loadout. Which McCool gives you 100% health steal. So now you're 700k on 46 trap gems if you use Bliss for 3 extra and Penta for 1 extra and 150% trap gem damage, right? So we're getting 200% trap, 150. So that's pretty nice. So the trap bonus is 900k on 46 gems, right? So that's a bunch of unblockable to the tune of 46 times 900,000. 41.4 million unblockable. And then we're getting 700k on 46 trap gems healing and damage, right? It's a health steal. So 40, why is that calculator not doing its calculator things? Let me close and reopen. All right, 46 times 700,000. 32 million. So 32, it's like 73.5 million unblockable with this, which is kind of cool. And then whatever gem damage you have rocking, which is boosted, 300% because of those two. So it's not nothing. Again, Taker, 85 million health. We're going to throw these out. Boom. And then we're going to hit this. And then we're going to do this. You can see he's all the way down to 40 million. So see what the gem damage is. Health steal drains him, and gem damage is 20 million on top of it. So like about 95 million on that with no plates. Plates kind of arbitrary for this build. I wouldn't bother with them other than like blue moves to add 50% gem damage. The Michaels, zombie Michaels one, whatever it's called, 100% is going to add minimal. Maybe get a couple 3 million out of it, right? So that's what I got for you guys on him. I think his kit is pretty cool in that it's versatile. A lot of different ways you can run it. He's the best zombie technician. So during zombie month, he's great. His coach is strong, but it's not Bliss. To me, the best zombies this month are Bliss and Zombie Penta really easily, actually. Not even close to the others. I think those two are a cut above. And then there's everyone else. And when you go to techs, like as far as how he holds up compared to other techs right now with what's in the game, I don't think he's Ilya. I don't think he's Julius. I actually find him fairly favorable to Mercy comparison on all of the multiply stuff. He does have the 35 million damage move, which is kind of cool because it's unblockable too. But let's get to text here. So hip hop scene is definitely better, right? Ilya's definitely better. Julius is 2 clicks, definitely hits harder with the right stuff, so better, I think. So those three, I think, are clearly better. Gunther is no slouch anymore, either. I do think Jacob's better than Gunther, just FYI. So I would probably throw Jacob 4, and then maybe Mercy 5. I do think he's better than Mercy, because he's got more in his kit. But yeah, I don't think he's Julius or Jacob. Julius or Ilya. Ilya's his primary comparison at Focused, right? Um, and yeah, his coach. If we didn't have any of the other zombies, his coach would be really great. But we do have the other zombies, so it's not really a thing to FOMO over. Yeah, I mean, Shredder's in the conversation too, right along with Mercy, right? So I'd put him the 4th best tech in the game. But pretty solid, right? But you're not like, I don't think he's a must have or anything like that. He's cool. I want to get him because it's cool to have all the zombies. The moment would add 100% more, which would be nice, but doesn't get him anywhere near Julius, Ilya gem damage, right? 50% more on the traps gives him another 100k. So another 4.5 million. Like it doesn't do a ton for him, right? So yeah, I think he's great. and a nice addition to zombies. But he's not the best tech in the game by any stretch. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the showcase. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and remember to like, subscribe, and share because that really helps me out. On that, guys, thanks for watching. Good luck out there. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And sorry if this is kind of discombobulated because, like I said, I'm just having trouble focusing today. I'm very distracted.